don't remember where it came from, but basically it says, I don't know who discovered water, but I can guarantee it wasn't a fish.
That's super good.
Right.
Wow.
So the main
That's
thing
so,
is like fish are in it. That's all
yep.
they know. They
Yep.
don't know of anything outside of the water. It's kind of like us as humans. Even look at the air around you, right?
Yeah.
For so long, we thought this was nothingness,
Yeah.
and now we realize, hey, it's full of all kinds of molecules and things that you need to live.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we changed our perspective on it that we start to realize that. And it is something you have to do for yourself. It's something that other people can't do for you. You have to learn how to train your mind yourself. I had already been somebody that was interested in helping other people. My entire life, I've kind of been like that. I actually used to I was a motivational speaker at 12 years old.
Okay.
So I finished my cancer treatment and my chemotherapy and all of my surgeries, and I learned how to walk again, all of that fun stuff.
Wow.
I started speaking at um, events for children who had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go and I would speak to the parents about like how their kids can get through it, what they could do to help facilitate that. Even talking to the kids that were there to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't matter how bad things get. You can still walk away from it. I need to sit down and relax. And then as soon as I sit down, I'm like, how can I be more productive while I'm relaxing?
Well,
Like this
I
is
can
nice,
feel
but
that.
there's got to be a way to make
Yep.
it more productive.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Not really embracing the fact that rest is a crucial piece of it.
Yep.
And my favorite analogy that helped me embrace this was tying it back into exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a personal trainer, one of the biggest things I used to tell people is you can't lift the same thing day after day,
Mm-hmm.
or your muscles won't grow. They need time to rest to recover. We're the same. Our minds, our brains operate the same way. Stress plus rest equals growth. If we're constantly in that state of stress, we're just like working ourselves down to nothing.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Brainwashed To Be Broke series. Today's guest is someone who's lived the breakdowns and built the comeback. From surviving cancer to walking away from the 9 to 5 grind to helping others reclaim their power. He's a former lawyer turned transformational coach, teaching people how to unbrainwash themselves, rebuild their identity, and lead with discipline and purpose. Super excited to have him here. Welcome to the show, Drew Kairos.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks,
Pumped to
man.
be here, man.
Thanks so much for being here, and let's dive in. Literally, I have prepared so many questions for you. And but before we go and start exploring them, I would love to hear, and most of the listeners would love to hear, what is your backstory? How did you get into entrepreneurship, and what entrepreneurship means for you, actually?
Interesting. Yeah. So for me, it starts a long time ago. I was diagnosed with cancer, like you said, as a kid. I was 10 years old, and it kind of like ripped the curtain off of life early for me. You're forced to grow up, see things from a little bit differently. I learned fast that nothing is guaranteed, and mental strength is much more important than people give it credit for. So I actually my dad was an entrepreneur when I started.
All right.
He started a business before I was born. It was kind of in healthcare, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he works all the time. It was his business was his life,
Yep.
and he spent all of his time working on his business. The only time I saw him was when I went to the office to help him work. He had me on the payroll when I was really little. I was like alphabetizing time slips and shit like that. Like these little remedial tasks around the office. Um, and he's kind of the reason why I got into the idea of working for myself, but I didn't know that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad actually passed away in 1999. I
Mm-hmm.
was in the middle of my cancer treatment, and
Mm-hmm.
I had just turned 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he was gone from my life before he was like a real presence in my, I guess, adulthood,
Yep.
or the idea around this becoming a business owner. I followed the traditional route to success after that. I kind of did what I was supposed to do. Went to school, got good grades. I went to school for way too long. I have 4 degrees right now, 2 bachelor's, a master's, and a Juris Doctorate. So I went on to become a lawyer. I had
Mm-hmm.
student loans that could have purchased a house. And it was just one of those things that I never saw the world the same as everybody else, but I still kind of played by the rules,
Hmm.
just thinking that it would just be easier for me. And the reality is that it wasn't. And I hit roadblock after roadblock. I was had some brutal kind of business betrayals. My first business partner was embezzling money from the office, which was not fun to experience. I've had other people that just kind of bailed. I had a business partnership for 5+ years that ended up just dissolving because that the other guy disappeared, changed what he wanted to do with his life. But it's one of those things where you go through jobs and you're like, hey, there's no security in the job market. I might as well go work for myself.
Hmm.
So my first kind of bout in entrepreneurship was in real estate.
Mm.
That was my first real business. I had always done freelance things before that. I was a swim instructor. Like I was an avid swimmer in high school. So I taught swim lessons. I did personal training. That was all like freelance stuff, but it wasn't really a business. My first real business was real estate, and it was actually apartment rentals.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I opened up an agency in the middle of just like downtown in the city that I used to live near. And I would rent out apartments for people. So I went and I was kind of doing the door knocking type of idea, going and meeting all of the different landlords in the area, anybody that had property, to be like, hey, if you need a spot filled, come
Hmm.
talk to me. And it ended up growing really quickly. But that was the one that my business partner was embezzling money from. So
Hmm.
it wasn't super sustainable. Once I figured that out, though, I kind of grew even more because I got rid of him. I stepped in as broker of record because I had graduated law school at that
Hmm.
time. And when you're a lawyer, you can automatically become a broker,
Yep. Yep.
which is interesting. You have to know 20 times as much real estate law to pass the bar as you do to become a broker. So they just hand you your license. And I decided at that point I was going to be broker of record for this office, and I was going to open another office doing more traditional real estate,
Wow.
residential, commercial real estate. So I had two offices. I ended up meeting a guy that merged my um, like residential real estate office with an insurance company. So
Hmm.
I got my insurance purchaser's license, and then I could sell somebody a house and write their insurance on
Hmm. Very
it.
interesting.
I thought that like that was the best that it was going to get, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, things are awesome now. I'm making tons of money. I was still working 60 or 70 hours a week between the two businesses, and I was driving 600+ miles every week. I spent 4 hours every day in my car. Um, it got to the point where I was completely burnt out.
Hmm.
My body basically just started shutting down.
Hmm.
I still felt mentally like I could keep going, but my body would literally shut down.
Yeah.
Um, and I would just black out,
Hmm.
like kind of faint, pass out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it happened to me twice where I didn't know what the hell was going on. And giving my background, my wife was like, you need to go get checked because this could be something more serious. And I did all of the tests with the doctors. Like they had me wear a heart rate monitor for a week to see if my heart was affected. I did all the stress tests or whatever where you run
Hmm.
on a treadmill. They did brain scans and everything. It was like $8,000 in expenses, and they go, "You're fine.
Mm.
You just need to slow down a little
Yeah. Yeah.
bit."
Well, you would be surprised, but once I'm talking to lots of entrepreneurs now, this is really like lots of people actually having this type of thing. Like
Mm,
they don't know when to stop. They just
exactly.
going, training like crazy and building the vision and what they like, what they want to achieve in their life. So it's like it's and I'm basically guilty of that also, right? I'm just like,
Mm.
but from one side I love it, from the other side it's so tiring sometimes. You can like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's easier to work 16 hours a day for yourself than 8 hours a
Oh,
day for somebody else.
so true. Yep.
But that was the biggest catalyst. My health is what pushed me to the online world.
Hmm.
So this was back in let's say 2016
Hmm.
or so, 15, 16. I started doing more from home.
Hmm.
And I stopped as far as real estate goes. Like I kind of stopped doing all of the showings and all of the work myself. And I just sat back as being the broker that I could have been,
Yep.
so I was running ads, I was getting new agents, I was delegating leads to all of my agents, and I was just taking 10 to 15% of every sale.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like that was really nice. And then I started really getting into marketing,
Mm-hmm.
because I started discovering the world of affiliate marketing, the world of just
Mm-hmm.
running ads. And this was, I mean, it was a completely different
What led
online
you
world
to that
back
actually?
then. But
What led you to that actually to figure out
so
and
I,
start
I
to?
was, I had started running ads for my real estate agency.
Yep.
So I kind of taught myself Facebook ads,
Yep.
and just kind of in that journey, you start, like, the algorithm starts showing you things that you may
Yep.
be interested in, right? So I start learning about digital marketing, I start learning about affiliate marketing, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, if I can just sell other people's products or services online, I don't ever have to go to the office again.
Yep.
So that, I mean, that was a really big turning point for me. I invested in a mentor at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually bought into a business at that point too, which was money that I didn't have. I
Mm-hmm.
had like $50,000 loan across 6 different credit cards
Wow. Wow.
because I didn't have credit at that
Yep.
point.
Yep.
I had used it all and everything else, so it was just like unsecured credit with these credit cards. Um, and I did really well with that business. It grew really quickly. It got me to the point that I was doing something crazy like $40,000 a month. Um, and then they got shut down by the FTC. So the government stepped in and
Wow.
decided this business is doing something wrong, and we're going to
Ugh.
shut everything down. So it was right when I was starting to get momentum, middle of 2018. I had been in it for 2 or 3 years. I had scaled everything up. I had a YouTube channel that was monetized. I was making money from ads. And then the FTC steps in and they shut down everything. So I lost my Google Workspace account,
Mhm.
which included my email address with all of my contacts in it, my Google Drive that had like 10 gigabytes worth of all of my trainings and recordings from meetings and everything. They shut
Ah.
down my YouTube
Feel the
channel,
pain.
and they clawed money out of my account. I lost like $50,000 from my checking
Wow.
account too. So I had to start over again in the middle of 2018. After first I had a business partner embezzling from me, then I had the government steal everything. So I'm like, let's start over again. But this time I'm not doing partners. I'm not joining a business. I'm going solo. And that was kind of when the coaching really took off for me.
Mm-hmm.
I realized I could just have conversations with people,
Mm-hmm.
and there was enough value there that they would pay me for it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So good. So good. So have you been already like kind of in a business while you've been studying the laws?
No,
No. Okay.
no. So I was actually a police officer while I was in law school.
All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did actually happen for you that moment that you realized that the system is built to is not built to make you free?
I feel like I had an inkling of that for a long time before it
Mm-hmm.
really hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I was the kid that used to go to the store and buy a giant box of like gum or something and then
Mm-hmm.
bring it to school and sell it to people from my backpack.
Right.
So
So
like I
good.
always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I think for me, it was probably about a year after I finished law school that I was just 100% certain that the normal job market wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did it make you feel actually that you had like you spend so much time, you have a loans debt and so on. How did you make you
Mm.
feel when you realized that?
I mean, you feel kind of dumb when it hits you, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, I wasted so much time and so much money and so much energy trying to fit into this system that is not meant to be fit into.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where you start realizing that that's
Mm-hmm.
not the life that you want. And no matter how hard you work on it or how successful you become in that field, it's never going to get you where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's still just like surviving, but with a title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Totally. Did it feel like something broke in you or something that woke up in you that finally could, you know, go out and start doing something that you really love to do?
For me, it was definitely more of a kind of waking up.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So good, so good.
Um, so yeah, that I mean, it's basically that's the best way to describe it. It is like something kind of awakened within me where I just had this new level of clarity and confidence in what I was doing. And you kind of realize that you're almost like you're bigger than the system,
Mhm.
so I started even just comparing what we do as humans to what every other creature does in nature.
Mm, yeah, so good, so good. And what actually was the script that you've been taught when you've been young? What that you should follow to be like, successful basically in the world?
The like biggest kind of limiting belief that I had, probably that I had to earn my worth through some sort of suffering.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very interesting.
So it's all of that, like, money doesn't come easy or money doesn't grow on trees, or that kind of workaholic,
Yeah,
like, hustle mode that we think we need to have. And I think a lot of that not only came from my dad's lifestyle and
yeah.
how hard he worked with his business, but also what we're told all through school. I was told that over and over, this isn't going to be easy, like, you're going to have to work really hard and it's going to be long hours or whatever. And that was something that I just kind of started to believe. I
Mm,
heard it enough that it became a truth for me, that I'm like,
mm-hmm.
I have to somehow
Mm-hmm.
suffer through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. What belief had to die at that time that you've been actually like start believing in more yourself, or I'm not sure how you've been like, have you been like confident enough that you knew that you will figure this out, or what has to be like, what was the belief that you had to like, you know completely like
Mm,
work on to actually be able to.
yeah. So I mean, that was a big one, kind of earning my worth.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled a lot with worthiness and that, I guess, kind of imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
which now it's funny, once you get into it, you realize imposter syndrome is actually a good sign.
Mm. Very interesting. Yeah, go
it,
on that.
it shows that
Go.
you're
Yeah.
breaking the mold a little bit. You're
Okay.
pushing
Okay.
yourself out of what you've been conditioned to be. And we're all just taught fear. We're taught scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
We're not taught freedom. We're not taught
Mm-hmm.
strategy. So for me, it was all about kind of forcing myself to stop waiting for some day when
Mm-hmm.
things would magically
Cool.
change
Yep.
and just start acting more in alignment.
Mm. In alignment who you are, who you've been.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. Okay, that's really good. That's really good. Like, what kind of life were you being trained to accept, and why did it no longer fit in you at that time?
Mm. Yeah, so the like 40 plus hour work week
Yeah.
was normal. If you were working 40 hours or less, you basically weren't working hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially as a lawyer, they're looking at you for like 50, 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
That was the norm. If you did less than that, you were underachiever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was something that really shifted when I started doing. I've been kind of playing with this mindset work for the last
Mm-hmm.
25 years of my life, but um, I made the shift into this entrepreneurship where I was working for myself, and I still felt like I had to work 15-hour days or 16-hour days in order to be successful. And it was in that first business where I started seeing how things could change,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to understand leverage.
Mm. That's really important also. That's so good.
So I saw I had days where I would make commissions or make sales or even just make more money than I made as a lawyer by working less.
Mm-hmm.
I could work 3 or 4 hour days and make $5,000.
Mm-hmm. What leverage meant for you at that time? Like, what it, yeah, like, help to little bit break it down a little bit more for people who are not that familiar with what does it actually mean, and how would you use it for you?
So for me, it was using things other than my time.
Mm-hmm.
You start to realize that your time is your most valuable resource. So you
Mm-hmm.
can I would rather spend money to make money than take my time to do it.
Mhm. Yep.
So I started learning about the ideas of investing, like
Mhm.
investing in not only my education, but in building systems
Mhm.
or in mastering strategies that gave me more than I put into it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Where I feel like all of the other traditional employment,
Mhm.
it's a very more even give and take. You put in this hour and you get this much money back, and there's no scalability to
Yep.
it.
Yep. So why do you think we aren't taught about money at all in school?
Control,
Mm.
that's my thought. So
Mhm.
if we truly understood what money is,
Mhm.
how it's really just a symbol of exchange of value or exchange of energy,
Mhm.
um, we can start to realize that there are other ways to do it than spending all of our time chasing that dollar.
Mhm. So good. So good. Energy. Sorry, I'm just doing
Yeah, perfect.
notes. This is so good. So how did you have to learn about money? What was the process of learning about money for you?
Hmm. I feel like I like to learn everything the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a questioner at heart. I
Yep.
always have been. I don't take anything at face value. I don't care who tells it to me. I need to see why that's true for me.
Yep.
So the money thing, I don't know when I really had that realization.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like the real estate office and that those businesses really helped me understand that
Mm-hmm.
because I had other agents doing the sales for me and I still got a piece of it because it was my business.
Yep. Yep.
So that type of idea helped was kind of a catalyst that started changing it and then the internet is what really pushed me over the edge to see that it's not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of my favorite analogies when it comes to money
Mm-hmm.
is currency. So if you think of how water operates,
Uh-huh.
right? Water is it's always flowing. It never really wants to sit still. And when water is flowing, what do we call it? A current, right?
Mm-hmm.
So money, which is currency, is made to flow. It's made to do things. It has to flow through you into what you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
It can't like otherwise if you're just looking to stockpile money, you're creating a dam in the energy flow.
Yep. So good.
So that was when I started investing in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
started to understand, hey, I can pay for ads, I can pay for training, I could pay for software, learn these strategies, and that's when things really can start to take off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. You wouldn't believe, but basically, even though you've been studying something different, but my first breaking point for me to like start thinking differently was actually about investments also. I went
Mm,
to investments learning about money because I believe that money and studying money is the first step to start a business. Because without
yep.
you understanding money, how you should operate with money, even though you would make like, you would create something successful, some type of business or whatever, you wouldn't know how to operate with those money and you would get back into the same hole where you've been
Mm-hmm.
before.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's evident with a lot of people who have won the lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have know how to manage any of it, so they end up losing it all or spending it all. And it's really because they still work for money.
Yep.
They
Yep.
don't have money working for them.
Yeah. Even they sometimes they end up even worse than they where they
Mm-hmm.
when before the money came to them basically.
Right, because they end up buying all of these expensive assets that
Yep.
cost more to maintain and they accrue debt without being able to pay it off.
Yep. Yep. So crazy.
Crazy.
So crazy to me. But tell me, how did you deal with the debt of a student loan?
Mm. So, I mean, it's paid off now.
Yep.
Um, it was, I mean, it's something I really didn't think about
Mm-hmm.
all that much.
Yep.
For me, like the credit card debt of starting my own business was way more stressful than any of my student loans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of it is just because it's in that conditioning. again.
Mm.
Just like taking out a mortgage on your house. It's like something that's expected of you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have debt from school. You're supposed to have debt from a house. You're supposed to have debt from a car. And it just forces you to work forever
Mhm.
to kind of chase that paycheck so you can buy freedom for yourself.
Yeah. 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 So the business for sure help you to all basically pay it off and everything
Yeah,
like, get you closer to what you've been building. Even though I would say that when I'm listening to you and what you're saying, um, the whole circumstances that happened to you is actually shape you in the person that you are now. And that's
100%.
so much value that you like, there is, this is how you unique from
Mm-hmm.
others, and this is like,
Absolutely.
it's just amazing to see what is possible when you have the commitment and everything, like the way that you showing up. So good. Um, Now, when so you started your business, or let's go to there. When you started your business, with you have this type of the circumstances that have been happening, but then you jump into the coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
And what led you to actually start the coaching business and helping people with their mindset?
So it's kind of a mix of a couple different things. Um, a lot of it was just becoming aware of the training or the programming that we already
Mm-hmm.
have. I had already been somebody that was interested in helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
My entire life, I've kind of been like that. I was a motivational speaker at 12 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So I finished my cancer treatment and my chemotherapy and all of my surgeries, and I learned how to walk again, all of that fun stuff.
Wow.
I started speaking at um, events for children who had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go and I would speak to the parents about like how their kids can get through it, what they could do to help facilitate that.
Mm-hmm.
Even talking to the kids that were there to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't matter how bad things get, you
Mm-hmm.
can still walk away from it. So that was something I did a little bit of when I was really young. And then again, I fell off of it because I got caught up in this traditional route to becoming successful. And then I was even seeing in all of my marketing coaching and my marketing strategy, most of the problems I was helping people with were mindset.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't business issues, they were personal issues that were
Yep.
reflecting in their business.
Yep.
So I started thinking to myself, why don't I just stay focused on this? This is where my real passion is. The marketing is something I fell into,
Yep.
but this like kind of rewiring your mind and everything was something that I almost like a trial by fire. I learned it out of necessity, but I didn't really know what I was learning until 10 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mindset is the biggest piece in
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship at all. Without you becoming the person who you're supposed to become, you won't ever be able to use the skills or have the tools or use the tools to actually be able to, actually execute on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we had, I give you a question about before we even started this interview. I gave you a question. What would you like to go deeper on, and you love to talk about? And I would love to hear from you. Um, believe we're successful. Okay, so let's go on that. Um, what is the yeah? So most people try to change their habits or circumstances without ever upgrading the internal spirit they're running. Until we
Mm.
conform who we believe we are, success will allow always feel like sabotage with waiting to happen. Okay, so let's go to that topic. I would love to hear your perspective on that and why is this happening actually?
Yeah, so this like kind of outdated mental code.
Right.
um, so this, I mean, it's all programming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it actually starts in school
Mm-hmm.
at a really young age.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even say kindergarten, right? That's when we're kind of taught the 5 day work week.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You go to school Monday through Friday and you
Yep.
can have the weekend for
Yep.
yourself. It starts that young. That's where we all become indoctrinated into this system to become just basically a cog, right? You're a piece of this machine that needs you doing whatever tasks you're supposed to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just it's training you to fit into a world that wants you to be weak and
Mm-hmm.
distracted and obedient.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, um mindset, I feel like you say the word mindset and it's almost like white noise because everybody feels like they know what it means already. They're like, oh, I did a meditation 10 years ago, or I read a Tony Robbins book or whatever, so they think they know mindset. And in reality, it's one of those things that you never really master.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be there.
Yep.
And
I love
it's
I love the analogy of the path is the destination.
yes, exactly.
That's so good. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're focused all only on a finish line that's
Mm-hmm.
never going to get there, and
Yep.
you're waiting for that finish line to feel happy or to feel accomplished or to feel fulfilled, you're going to be left wanting for the rest of your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I do feel like some of that at a small level, like we're trained to look forward to the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
We're trained to look forward to our 2 weeks of vacation every year.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right, so it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like we're trained to believe that our life is not our own and it really belongs to our employer or to the IRS that wants to collect your taxes
Yep.
every year.
Yep. Yep. So true. Oh my gosh. Ugh, feel that so much. Yeah. And I've been living this way also, like most of the
Mm,
people from the beginning, they do. And it has to happen from you. You have to
mm-hmm,
be the person to change it because you know how many times I had a conversation with other people, like for example, even family members, to actually like help them see the world differently.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
Nope, they
You
have to
can
be open
just
to it.
talk like they are not open to it. They don't believe in this type of things, and they are
Yep.
happy in that small cubicle
Mm-hmm.
they've been shaped in.
Exactly, and that it's like a limited perspective of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And I actually have a great analogy for that too. There's a an old motto. I don't remember where it came from, but basically it says, I don't know who discovered water, but I can guarantee it wasn't a fish.
That's so pretty good.
Right.
Wow. Yeah,
So the main
that's
thing
so
is
good.
like fish are in it. That's all
Yep,
they know. They
yep,
don't know of anything outside of the water. It's kind of like us as humans. Even look at the air around you, right?
yeah,
For so long, we thought this was nothingness,
yeah, yeah,
and now we realize, hey, it's full of all kinds of molecules and things that you need to live.
yeah.
But it wasn't until we changed our perspective on it that we start to realize that. And it is something you have to do for yourself. It's
Mm-hmm,
something that other people can't do for you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You have to learn how to train your mind yourself,
mm-hmm, hmm.
basically,
Yeah, yeah.
or else somebody else will do it for you. And they're already doing it to train you to be something you don't want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. That's and it's just it's so sad and to see like so many people just struggling with their lives and they don't do anything. They don't care. It seems like I just did a post lately that basically people are dying in 25 and then they are not buried until 65,
Mm-hmm.
which is like it's just insane
You just start,
because
you live the same year every year for the rest of your life.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
they are not growing. They are not studying anything anymore because they think that the
Right.
paper going to give you what you need and that's it. And now you are fully equipped for your life and just do the stupid thing over and over again. It's
Yep,
just
exactly. And
ah,
there's actually, I think it's Joe Dispenza that I first heard something like that from. Basically, by the age of 35, 95% of our thoughts, our behaviors, our emotional reactions
oh yeah.
are driven by these kind of subconscious memorized patterns rather than conscious choices.
Yep, yep,
And we can change them. We can change them anytime we
yep.
want to. Most people don't understand or realize that they can change by choice.
Hmm.
They wait for something big to happen, something bad to happen, where they have to change out of necessity.
Hmm.
like, oh, you were diagnosed with cancer. Now you can change your perspective on
Yeah,
life.
that's why you see most of the people that like most of the people what I can see and they're like older, they
Hmm.
usually have this type of event happen to them or something,
Hmm.
which is actually happening for them. But anyway, uh,
Exactly.
but uh, and that's the moment when they change and something changes and they do massive shift and start seeing the world differently. And
Hmm.
but it's just so rare that something like that happen. And anyway,
That it
it's
has to get to that point is
yeah,
kind of sad.
yeah,
But I mean, that's where I'm fortunate because for me, that event happened at 10 years old.
right, yeah,
Like facing death as a 10-year
yep,
old made everything real really fast
yep.
so that I could see things differently. I even remember in school, any of the schooling that I did, everybody else is worried about school. Like
Mhm,
they're worried about this next test, or they're worried about who they're going to go to prom with, or
mhm,
they're worried about graduating or whatever. And for me, I basically strutted around all of my schools just like, hey, none of this shit matters.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, but it's
Even
yep.
even law school, I was one of those people that did the bare minimum to get by. I
Mhm,
wasn't stressing myself out. So my motto was C equals JD.
mhm. Yep,
If I can stay in the middle and I can pass everything, then I'm going to get the degree. And it's not like I would walk up to somebody afterwards and they're like, oh, you're an attorney. What was your GPA? Right? Nobody cares.
yeah. But you know what? I had literally the same. Of course, I haven't been, I haven't studied a uni or so. Uh, and I finished with high school,
Mm,
right? But from sixth grade, basically, I've been always average because why I should be the top when it's enough to be C at least. Like I didn't want to be the worst, so I just been like in the middle, and that's all.
right. Try a little bit, but don't
Yeah,
stress yourself out over
yeah,
it.
yeah, right. But I had more different type of things that I've been working on because of the way that I saw the world right from the really young age, completely different. So,
Mm,
my classmates, they kind of use this against me. So I've been bullied and this type of things a
mm-hmm.
lot.
Yep.
But
Been there, done that.
so yeah, it's just anyway now. Well, like anyway, it's so many, and especially now at this age, what we are taught, like like the way that we are, what is normal for, especially for our country. At this stage, you are already like, or at my age, you are already like having a family.
Mm,
You have nothing prepared, like you are not secure, you haven't got anything to like actually take care about your family, but
right.
the first thing that you should have is a kid and in 22 or 23,
Yeah.
and
Get
then
married, buy a house, have a kid.
crazy,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So this is just insane, and most of the people that actually I've been raised, like growing up with, that's exactly how they live,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna be trapped there until they going to basically retire, probably, if they, well, and it's just insane to me anyway.
That is, it's a big if
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
And that's another, I mean, I kind of broke that mold too.
Yep.
I don't have kids. I have all kinds of animals. I am married. I got married 8 years ago, so I was 27,
27.
28, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, like, it was kind of like you were saying, all of my friends were like, hey, once you hit your 20s, you're supposed to settle down.
Yeah. It's just, oh my gosh.
Like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna force any of it. When it happens, it happens.
Yep.
So, and that's usually like the more solid relationships too, or the ones that you're not really searching for,
Yeah. Yeah.
just kind of falls in your lap.
Well, I have a few more questions for you.
Sure.
So one of them is, what belief did you, or do you lead, yeah, what belief do you live by now that your younger self would have thought was crazy?
Belief do I live now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a much bigger advocate of like my personal health now.
Mm-hmm.
I never used to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would work out a lot. I was in good shape, but I didn't take care of myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
It was physical, was as far as I got.
Yep. Yep.
Right. So for me now, the biggest thing is just wanting peace, I guess. It's not chasing accomplishments, it's not chasing goals, it's not chasing certifications. It's more just like I enjoy the calm, I enjoy the quiet, I enjoy not hustling
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean I can't or I won't, because
Yep.
I still do from time to time, but it's not part of my kind of core operating system
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
And what made you made you that shift?
Um, I mean, I kind of evolved, like
Mm-hmm.
I sort of became the version of me who deserved more.
You so good. Okay. And that's a big piece. This is so good. What do you mean by that, actually?
So this is actually a big part of one of my courses,
Mm-hmm.
my aligned from within course that I have. Um, it's basically like to break the cycle of being yourself.
Ooh, okay. Very interesting.
You need to kind of evolve into the person that you want to be.
Uh-huh.
So there was, I don't remember who said it originally, but there's this phrase. It's basically be, do, have.
Yo.
Right. So you have to be who you want to be, do the things that that person would do, and then you can have what that person
Yep.
has. So for me, that's really what it came down to. I had to level up in a lot of different ways. And there's just kind of like little different things in my life that have happened to make that happen or trigger it for me,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was planned or not. Emotions were always a hard thing for me because I guess just the way my dad brought me up.
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of that. Like his motto was winners never quit and quitters never win.
Okay.
So it was
That's
kind
cool.
of like he reinforced that hustle culture in a way, but it was also more of, I don't want to say toxic masculinity, but more of like men don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
we don't feel emotion, we don't show emotion. I had to be almost like this just robot worker bee type of person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My wife is the one that broke me of that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you follow anything in astrology, I'm a Gemini
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways. I don't know. I don't want to get into that too much, but I'm a Gemini, so I live in my mind. Everything's up here for me. It all
Yep.
has to be, if I want to feel an emotion or exhibit an emotion, I
Yep.
have to justify it logically first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So my wife, not only is she a woman, obviously, which gives her more in tune with her emotions, but she's also a Cancer on the zodiac signs. So
Okay.
cancers are, it's a crab
Yep.
is their
Yep.
symbol, but they're just like these kinds of walking balls of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I first started dating my wife, I think it was our second date, and she was just sitting on the floor crying. And I did not understand it at all.
You're probably too well.
I
I
was
would.
just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Um, but it kind of like, I don't remember what it was at this point because it was probably 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
um I just sat there. I
Mm-hmm.
sat next to her and I'm just like, okay, you do that. I'm going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of seeing somebody growing up or growing with somebody who is that in tune with all of their emotions and can just like, she has to exhibit everything she feels.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Whereas I'm the complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of given me an inside loop almost to see what that world is like and to help me embrace a little bit more of that humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a big thing. I've had times where I just couldn't work even. Something would happen, I would get injured or whatever, and I would just be forced to sit with myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's
So
it.
that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's to break me of this like,
Have you had to train yourself on that, like becoming
oh
this
yeah,
type of?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm one of those people, or I'm much better at it now, but I was always one of those people that was like, hey, I've worked a ton this week. I need to sit down and relax. And then as soon as I sit down, I'm like, how can I be more productive while I'm relaxing? you know,
Well,
like
I
this is
can
nice,
feel
but
that.
there's got to be a way to make
Yep.
it more productive.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Not really embracing the fact that that rest is a crucial piece of it.
Yep. Yeah.
And my favorite analogy that helped me embrace this was tying it back into exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a personal trainer, one of the biggest things I used to tell people is you can't lift the same thing day after day
Mm-hmm.
or your muscles won't grow. They need
Yep.
time to rest to recover. We're the same. Our minds, our brains operate the same way. Stress plus rest equals growth.
Mm.
If we're constantly in that state of stress, we're just like working ourselves down to nothing.
Stress plus the rest equals grow. Wow, that's
So
a
if you don't take that time to rest yourself, something's going to happen that will force it on you.
mm-hmm. Ooh, that's so good.
And
Okay.
again, I learned that the hard way more than
Yep.
once
Yep.
before I started actively embracing it.
Yeah. 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 So good. So now when it comes to your values,
Mm.
if somebody would look at your life without hearing your words,
Mm-hmm.
what they would see that you value the most.
Mm. What do I value the most? I mean, I don't really know, honestly. From an outsider's perspective, it's kind of hard to say, but
Mhm.
most of what I do is going to be empowering in one way or another.
Mm, so powerful. That's so good.
So I'm also one of those people that like I like to say how you treat animals or
Mm-hmm.
people that are like kind of less than you in a way says everything about who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I actually, the reason why my business is named what it's named, Alpha Dog Success, why I have the wolf or dogs everywhere is I actually, I was a dog trainer
Mm-hmm.
at one point too. That's what I did with the police office or
Mm,
as a
okay.
police officer, I was a canine
What's your
handler for a little
favorite dog,
bit.
actually?
Um, I actually, my favorite breed, Great
Yep.
Danes.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So I didn't have a Great Dane when I was a canine officer, but once I left all of that, I met a guy who had a service dog company. He
Mm-hmm.
was training Great Danes to become stability and mobility aids
Mm-hmm.
for wounded veterans
Mm-hmm.
because they're tall, so you can lean on them and kind of rely on that. And I started working with him, just volunteer work.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
between everything, I actually brought a dog to law school
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
walked across the stage with me and got an honorary degree.
Very cool.
So like these great I have two Great Danes downstairs right now.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
They're just that's definitely my breed. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had five or six over the years. Um, they are like they're the gentle giants
Mm-hmm.
too. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
look intimidating,
Yep.
but they're just like the goofiest, nicest dogs
Mm-hmm.
if you have the right energy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the coolest part about this kind of how you embody yourself
Mm-hmm.
or how other people perceive you. If you look at what the leaders are like in a dog pack, the alpha
Yep.
dog,
Yep.
right? It's not the loudest, it's not the biggest, it's not the strongest, it's the one that just has that energy
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Yep.
Usually they're the quietest and the calmest in the pack until they need to step up,
Ooh, so good.
right? So I started really realizing, hey, that same energy if I carry myself that way,
Mm-hmm.
not only does it work with dogs, it works with people.
Mm-hmm. So true. Yeah, I'm completely seeing that. So good.
So it is one of those things I try to carry myself that way
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time so that my energy impacts a room. I'm not being impacted by the energy of the room.
Yeah. 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 So cool. So true. Wow. That's so good. Well, I thank you so much for being here and sharing the whole knowledge and your insights. This is amazing. I love this conversation. Super cool to have you
I feel
here.
like we could talk all day.
Yeah, totally. Um, Before I let you go, I have a last question for you,
Mm-hmm.
which I have like similar questions for most people in the end, which is if this would be your last interview you would ever done, what would be your message to people? What would you like to leave behind you?
Hmm. Probably something simple like you're not broken.
Mm-hmm.
You're just following bad code and you
Mm-hmm.
can rewrite it anytime you want to
Yeah.
for any reason at all. And that's literally that's what I help people do. You know, starting with the trained mind is my first course. It is all about kind of understanding that. to
Amazing.
train your mind to match the life you actually want.
So cool. So cool. Where people can find you to support you.
So my website, you can come find me on there, alphadogsuccess.com. I've got all kinds of free resources. I have a quiz on there too, or Facebook. I have a pretty decent presence on Facebook.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. And for everybody who's listening, if this is something in you, don't ignore it. Share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe, leave a review, and remember, you weren't born to follow the script. You weren't born to be free. Bye, everybody.